Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lehns and you're watching Get Germanized, your first impression of Germany.
I am bored. What should I do?
Ah, ich weiß.
Get Germanized.
I've asked you, members of the Germ fam, on the, well, worldwide Instagram about what things you noticed the first time around when you came to Germany. May it be positive things, negative things, surprising things, or just weird things. And you've answered on Instagram. I'm also going to go through some of my own, well, experiences, which I found out about, well, that foreigners think it's weird, for example, when I talk to friends that came to Germany for the first time, but mainly your experiences. So I'd say we'll just get started right away. Lasst uns anfangen. First up, OMFG, you really go crazy on New Year's Eve. There's fireworks everywhere, says Mr. Gotham. Yeah, that is true, precise, and some people really hate it. I mean, I've celebrated New Year's Eve in a big city only a couple of times in my life, right? Because I'm from the countryside, as you can see. But let me tell you, it was intense in comparison. For example, in Bremen, it just sounds like you're in Vietnam or in some kind of war zone, because, I mean, the echoing, the noise, the sound gets so much louder, right? Because of all the buildings, it like echoes from wall to wall, and just, I don't know, I had to cover my ears at some point because it was so loud. And apparently people put rockets down on the street for fun in certain areas of the city, and then, yeah, they go all out insane. And some people even get like illegal foreign fireworks, like from China or from Poland or something like that, where they don't always have these very strict, well, restrictions. And so there are people who end up with limbs torn off, and that's pretty intense, obviously. So yeah, I don't think anyone really expects this, since in the US I think it's pretty civilized. Actually, I'm not sure. On Independence Day, do you guys do crazy stuff like that as well? I wouldn't know, but I assume you would, but I haven't heard about that. I just see parades and like controlled fireworks most of the time. And all in all, I think fireworks in Germany is still very well controlled. It's just some black sheep every now and then that want to, well, be insane, be crazy, and do all that dangerous stuff. But all in all, it's still pretty okay, I would say. We have all different kinds of fireworks, and shops are only allowed to sell fireworks, I think, a couple of days before New Year's Eve, the 31st of December here in Germany as well. We call it Silvester. And well, you hear sometimes kids and other people a couple of days before New Year's Eve, well, start some fireworks. I don't think that's necessarily legal, but I'm not 100% sure if it's illegal. So, I mean, you will hear it. If you really want to do it, just don't do it in public. And I think you'll be fine, because people just expect it, like around New Year's Eve. And I think a day or so after New Year's Eve, it's fine as well. But yeah, all in all, Mr. Gotham is right. People go batshit crazy when it comes to fireworks in Germany sometimes. The rest of the year, you really don't hear fireworks at all. Like, it is super rare if you were to hear fireworks apart from the 31st of December or around that date. If you hear it in May or something like that, it's really rare. Maybe someone used it for a wedding or something like that, but mostly in all my years here, all my 32 years in Germany, or most of them I spent in Germany, I suppose, I've never heard many fireworks at all outside of that, well, time zone. So keep that in mind as well. Next up, a comment by Fenris Music 86. Well, she went to the Hurricane Festival in Schesel and found out that, well, the camping sites weren't open yet. and they had to stay somewhere else for those days. Yeah, that is the thing. Definitely the campsites are only open, I think, 2 days or so before the actual festival starts. It's different from, like, depending on the festival, right? Rock am Ring might have different dates or different times in comparison to the Hurricane Festival or the Mera Luna Festival or the Wacken Open Air, right? So definitely keep that in mind if you want to attend a festival and are not sure when you should travel there. If you want to be an early bird, make sure that you're not a super early bird and miss, or like come too early actually, for the opening of the camping grounds, because that can be pretty annoying, I assume. Next up, another comment by Fenris saying, Bremen was the first place I visited and made me want to learn German. It's so beautiful and pretty. Well, I kind of agree. Bremen is a great place, and that's why I always suggest it to people as well. If they ask me, where in Germany should I go? What's the best place to visit? And I always say, like, well, I like Germany a lot. I like Bremen a lot. Yeah, I like Germany too, obviously, but Bremen is definitely a good city with nice architecture, with, well, just all in all, I would say at least nice people as well. I mean, that is difficult to generalize because any city would have some weird people, some unfriendly people, but Bremen all in all is pretty cool. Lots of stuff to do, good for maybe an extended weekend trip, maybe 4 days or something like that. I don't think you will need much more to see all of it, because Bremen is all in all not a major metropolis or anything like that. It's a city, but not like a gigantic city. It's cozy feeling, I think, at least. Next up, a comment by Sissa saying her first time in Germany started with a fire in her hotel. And the fire, like, she did wake up, so the firemen had to come and wake her up and knock on the door. That is crazy. Imagine you go somewhere for the first time in your life, a new country, and of course the hotel is on fire. Oh my God, the shock, the trauma. Have you ever been back to Germany ever since? I wonder, because that would definitely, well, make me think twice about revisiting that country. Even if it's like, it's of course not the country's fault, right? It might have been a million different reasons why there was a fire that day. Could have been just a cigarette butt that one of the guests forgot about. Anything, really. Doesn't have to do anything with Germany, most likely. But yeah, it's definitely traumatizing and, well, scary as well to think about it. Well, I'm glad you made it out there alive. Next up, a comment by Chris Patrick Jones. Bottle recycling at the front of the shops, and not everyone drinks out of steins. Did you really think that we Germans would drink everything out of steins all the time? Well, I mean, we might have done that in Bavaria. Maybe people do. No, okay, that's nonsense, of course. We do use normal glasses and mugs. Steins are often only used for beer, or in specific also for wheat beer, any beer really, to be honest. You will find that in Bavaria more often so than in other parts of Germany, like massive glass or porcelain or ceramic, whatever, steins. Krüge, we call them in German. Maß in Bavarian German. It's a liter of alcohol, basically, that you can chuck down or enjoy and sip on, whatever you prefer, really. But yeah, only in southern Germany, I would say, at least. I mean, they exist. I have like 5 or so now. I have 3 probably. But only because I kind of think it's funny to have like a massive stein of alcohol. Next up, a comment by Varko saying, giving tips was uncomfortable and awkward for an introvert. Giving tips the German way, I suppose, because yeah, how we do it is we confront the person, right? Meaning we say, hey, okay, here, if they say, for example, it costs you 30 euros and you want to tip them, then you have to say, here, make it 32 if you give them like 40 or like something like that, right? Then they give you back the change, and everyone knows exactly how much you've tipped, and the people around you and around the table know as well how much you've tipped. And that is just the German way of doing things, to be honest. Some restaurants have adapted it and changed the behavior a little bit at least, right? So they give you like a little checkbook, and then there's the bill inside, like similar to the US, and then you can pay what you owe, and I guess just say the rest is tip, right? You collect it, you put it in there, and then you say the rest is tip. And well, I mean, a little bit weird, because if they don't count it, then you could just, you know, have given too little. But if you give too much, I mean, not too much, if you give the right amount and tip very little, they wouldn't know either, unless they check right away, which they don't in that scenario at least. But yeah, that's a different kind of tipping that exists, but more common still is, I would say, to tip them in cash. Because also, often, if you tip them with your card and say, hey, make it out this and that much, then often they don't get the tip. It's not possible for some reason, right? So definitely make sure that you tip them in cash, if you want to tip them, that is. Next up, a comment by Noah Wessels. Saying, I really liked it. I visited the Christmas market in Aachen last year. And greetings from the Netherlands. Greetings back from Germany. Also, I love Christmas markets. I completely understand why foreigners are often amazed and enchanted by them when they see them for the first time. I mean, you do have them in other countries as well, I know that much. But in Germany, I think it's always special with this old architecture and all of that. It's just nice. It's something that you don't see every day if you come from the US, where many buildings are rather new in comparison. And it seems often, at least to many foreigners, like straight out of a fairy tale, which I get if you are in really old cities, and they might even have castles that are nicely decorated and nicely, well, lit, Christmas lights everywhere. I get it, it's nice, and I always go every year, multiple times. Last year I visited as many in 1 year as I've never visited before, because my friend Crystal from the US was there at the time, and we actually made videos, Car Thoughts videos as well, where we talked about different topics and also the Christmas market, so check that out if you haven't yet. Something else I have heard about many times was that people were surprised that you can actually eat vegetarian or vegan, or they can be a vegan or vegetarian in Germany, because often it is assumed that that is just not possible due to the hearty foods. We eat a lot of meat dishes, a lot of potato dishes and all of that, but there's also really a lot of vegetarian and even vegan options these days in restaurants. And if you just want to eat at home, you won't have any problem whatsoever, because supermarkets have everything you need for a vegan lifestyle, for a vegetarian lifestyle. They have even these fake meat products. I've talked about that a couple of times before as well. I have actually been vegetarian for 2.5 years, basically just to see if I could do it, what I felt like. I felt fine, but I'm sadly a carnivore at heart. Well, to disappoint many of my viewers, I'm sure. I'm sorry. It's just something, I found, I don't know. I eat meat every now and then, more fish. I try to eat more fish now these days, actually, and also try to eat more vegetables again and be healthier in general. I think I talked about this on Instagram as well. But all in all, I started eating meat again for various reasons, but also it was not a big deal to be vegetarian here in Germany at all. You can do it very easily, even if you're out and about. Maybe not everywhere, but in many places. So don't worry if you come here as a vegetarian, and you want to eat something, because there is going to be options for you as well. Next up, a comment by Imkatatonic. I really tried to speak German in Munich, so in Bavaria, but I really didn't understand anything the locals said. Well, I mean, you chose the wrong place to improve your German. That's the problem. Many people always want to go to Bavaria to, I don't know, I guess because they know it from movies, they know it from pictures, and it looks really nice. And people do speak High German, but not everyone. I think a big majority or like at least lots of people still speak in the Bavarian dialect in their daily lives, especially older generations. And that will make it just so much harder for you as a newbie to German to improve and to learn. And maybe you learn just the Bavarian dialect stuff, and that is not necessarily something I would recommend. Not saying that Bavarian German isn't German, but they have so many slang terms that the rest of Germany has probably never heard about, or very rarely heard about, or it's just very uncommon to use them in any other part of Germany. So make sure you go to a place like Bremen or like Northern Germany, where most of the German is High German, Standard German. I mean, we do have Northern slang as well, like moin, 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 but I actually really enjoy it. I mean, servus can be nice too, I guess, servus. Or grüß Gott, but I heard actually that grüß Gott is not really used anymore. And I mean, a comedian once said, Michael Mittermeier, and I'm pretty sure this isn't true. He said you only say greet God if you meet someone that you don't like, because if they greet God, they're dead, they die. So you only say that to people you don't like. But that is, I don't think it's true. It's just old-fashioned, and that's probably why people don't say it anymore. But yeah, definitely, well, any place where they speak dialect-free or almost dialect-free German is recommended. Another comment, actually, one of the people that had a comment before said that they think Germans are too nice because we Germans always start speaking in English as soon as we notice that a foreigner is not German or speaks English as their main language, right? And that is pretty true, I would say. It's a bit sad for, well, those who really want to practice their German, and if they followed my advice and came to a place in Northern Germany, for example, where they speak High German and still can't practice because we Germans just want to accommodate you and also practice our own English, to be honest. That happens, right? That happens, and also it might result in, well, people speaking in English all the time to you, or as soon as they notice a slip up, because they think, oh, I'm going to make it easier for you, right? I'm going to speak in your language because that language you can actually speak. No, but I think many Germans don't mean it in a negative way. They just want to help you out. But it can be frustrating, I'm 100% sure. So maybe if that happens, just ask them, hey, you know, would it be a big problem if we could continue speaking in German? I want to practice. I know I'm not very good yet, but please be patient with me, and I'm sure they'll understand if you do that. So don't worry too much and enjoy your time here speaking German as much as you can, at least. Well, something obvious, of course, also in regards to Bavaria is that people don't always wear lederhosen and dirndl. I think I've talked about this a million times before, but some people might still believe this. It's a false belief, obviously, but it might happen that people still believe that. And yeah, it's not really common though. In Bavaria more so, not that much other than that. Next up is, of course, the drinking age in Germany is pretty low in comparison to other countries. 16 for beer and wine and 18 for hard liquor. That being said, I believe if your parents are present, they might allow it a little bit earlier at the age of 14 or something like that. Not hard liquor, obviously, but like a sip of wine or something like that. Or even if that is not the law, many people do it, right? They give their kids something at like 14, which I don't approve of, to be honest, because alcohol does have pretty bad consequences. I mean, we all know this, for the developing body of a teenager or child, right? So definitely don't do that. I would agree with 18 should be, even for beer, should be like the youngest age people should start drinking, because it's just so bad for your body. I mean, I don't drink as much alcohol anymore as I used to, because I felt so much better when I stopped drinking as much, right? I drink every now and then for special occasions when I'm out with friends, like I said, every now and then. But all in all, it's pretty bad. We all know this. And same in Germany. Germany, I think, has an alcohol problem insofar that a lot of people just drink way too much. And I know Germany is known for their beer and stuff like that, so it's no surprise. I don't think we have many public people that suffer from alcoholism, right? And if they do, people don't think they're how do you say that? Addicted to alcohol, right? Alkoholiker, we say in German. Because it's just so normal to have a beer, even a beer after work every day. Imagine that. A beer every day. That makes you an alcoholic. That's the English word. I couldn't come up with it before. An alcoholic, technically at least. And even if you were to drink a lot every weekend, that would technically also classify you as some kind of alcoholic. So it's a really slippery road, right? You get there really fast. So I would be very careful at drinking too regular, and especially when you start drinking like from Monday till Friday or a couple of days that are not the weekend. And like I said, even just the weekends, if you overdo it every week, is definitely bad for you. So yeah, anyway. Next up, a comment by Madame Vivian Fontana saying she visited Germany for the first time only for 5 hours, but that was the first time in her life that she saw snow. And that is pretty amazing to me. I know that some people don't know snow and have never seen snow, right? And in Germany, to be honest, it's not super common where I live anymore because, well, it has become a little bit rare due to, I don't know, climate change or just warmer temperatures in general. Yeah, climate change. So, yeah, but it's funny if someone from the desert comes to Germany for the first time and sees snow for the first time in their lives. How cool is that? I would love to see that, or would love to experience that myself, because I don't remember what I felt like when I saw snow for the first time. Probably pretty amazed and excited as a kid, right? Building a snowman for the first time is just absolutely fantastic, or building a snow fort in a way and having a snowball fight with your friends. All these things, very precious memories from my first time seeing snow. So yeah, I understand. It's pretty dope. It's pretty damn amazing. So I would say that's the first episode of, well, surprising things that people have told me about when they came to Germany for the first time, right? Or weird things or nice things. If you have any more of these, leave them down in the comments below. This was just a starter episode. I bet there are many more different experiences that you have made during your first visit here in Germany, or maybe if it was your second visit, or any early on surprises, your culture shocks, so to speak, that you have experienced here in good old Deutschland. So let me know about all of that. Follow me on my social media, also linked in the video description. You can also become a channel member. Click on the little join button next to the subscription button if you want to support this channel. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.